Have you ever had that strange feeling of living someone else's life? As if you were an actor playing a role you didn't choose, following a script someone else wrote for you? That restlessness in your chest isn't a coincidence. It's your soul crying out for recognition. The truth is, you weren't born just to pay bills, work 8 hours a day, and wait for the weekend to come. You came here with a much greater purpose, with specific gifts, with a unique mission. But something happened along the way. Something made you completely forget who you really are. This phenomenon has a name: programmed spiritual amnesia. And it's no accident. From the moment you open your eyes for the first time in this world, an invisible system starts working against your cosmic memory. It's as if someone intentionally deleted the most important files from your internal computer, the ones containing information about your true identity, your natural powers, and the real reason for your existence here. Think with me. When you were a child, how many times were you told that you were daydreaming too much? How many times were your wings clipped when you talked about things that don't exist? How many times were you forced into a pre-shaped box, being told that this is how things work? Each "don't do that," each "be realistic," each "stop fantasizing" was a layer of veil being placed over your original consciousness. Layer by layer, you were disconnected from the source. You learned to doubt your intuition, to ignore the universe's signs, to believe that you're just a grain of sand lost on an infinite beach. Modern society is a spiritual amnesia machine running 24 hours a day. Schools teach you to memorize formulas, but never teach you who you are inside. The media bombards your mind with information about what you should buy, how you should dress, what you should think, but never teaches you to listen to your own inner voice. The economic system keeps you chasing after goals that aren't even yours, pursuing dreams implanted in your mind by others. You wake up early, face traffic, work in something that doesn't inspire you, come home exhausted, and repeat it all the next day. Where is the time to connect with yourself in this routine? Where is the space to question who you really are? It's intentional, because a person connected to their divine essence is dangerous to a system that needs obedient robots. A person who remembers their powers doesn't settle for crumbs. An awakened person doesn't accept a small life. But here's what they didn't tell you. The amnesia is not permanent. Your soul is intact. Your gifts are intact. Your connection to the divine is intact. All of it is still there, waiting for the right moment to emerge again. And that moment could be now. If these words are making sense in your heart, it's because your time has come. Your soul is sending increasingly clear signs, and you need to learn to decode them. There's something I need to tell you. Your soul isn't quiet. It's constantly trying to communicate with you, sending signs, creating situations, moving people around you. The problem is that most people don't know how to interpret this language. But you're not most people. If you're here, watching this, it's because something inside you is already picking up on these signals. And now you're going to learn to recognize each one of them. The first sign is impossible to ignore once you understand what it means. Recurring dreams. I'm not talking about those random dreams you forget 5 minutes after waking up. I'm talking about those dreams that stick in your memory, that come back night after night, that feel more real than reality itself. These dreams have specific characteristics. They usually happen in places you've never visited but feel familiar. You meet people you've never known but who awaken a deep sense of recognition. You speak languages you've never learned, know paths you've never walked, have skills you've never developed. These are not ordinary dreams. They're memories of other existences, fragments of past lives, or even visions of possible futures. Your soul is using the dream state to show you who you've been and who you can become. But the signs don't stop there. Something even more impressive is happening in your life: synchronicities. Those coincidences that are so perfect, so precise, they're almost scary. You think of someone, and that person calls you. You need an answer and find exactly what you were looking for in a casual conversation. You're going through a problem, and someone appears in your life with the perfect solution. You see the same repeated numbers everywhere, on the clock, on license plates, on receipts, on phone numbers. Most people call this luck or coincidence. But you need to understand, there's no such thing as coincidence. And then there's the deepest sign of all, that constant feeling of not fully belonging to this world. As if you were a foreigner visiting a country that isn't yours, as if you were wearing clothes that weren't made for your body. You look around and see people completely satisfied with things that make no sense to you. They get excited about trivialities, worry about problems that seem insignificant, live lives that seem empty, and you're there, trying to understand how they can be happy with so little. This isn't arrogance. This isn't superiority. This is your soul reminding you that you came from a place much broader, much deeper, much more connected. You're not from here. At least, not completely. Your true origin is multidimensional. You're a being that exists simultaneously in multiple realities, on multiple frequencies, in multiple dimensions. And the part of you that's here, in this physical world, is just a small fraction of your true magnitude. That's why you feel out of place. That's why you're searching for something you can't name. That's why you thirst for transcendence, for connection, for purpose. Because you remember, even if vaguely, a much higher state of existence. Another powerful sign is the existential crises that come out of nowhere. One day you're fine, living your normal life, and suddenly a deep anguish hits. You start questioning everything, your job, your relationships, your choices, your life purpose. Nothing makes sense anymore. Society calls this depression or anxiety. But in reality, these are awakening crises. Your soul is forcing you to question a life that isn't authentic, pushing you out of your comfort zone, creating necessary discomfort so you'll search for something greater. Now you need to know something that changed my life forever. What I'm about to reveal here has been kept secret for millennia. All the great masters of humanity, from the pharaohs of Egypt to Tibetan monks, from native shamans to medieval alchemists, practiced the same ritual. They knew something that was intentionally erased from official history. They knew how to restore the memory of the soul. You'll find clues to this knowledge in all the sacred texts of the world, but always coded, always hidden in symbols and metaphors. Why? Because this power in the wrong hands would be dangerous. Because an entire awakened humanity would be impossible to control. In ancient Egypt, this ritual was practiced in the secret chambers of the pyramids. Pharaohs weren't just kings. They were beings who had recovered the memory of their divine existence. They used spiritual technologies that we now call impossible, but that were perfectly natural for someone who remembered their true powers. The pyramid texts speak of the opening of the mouth and the awakening of the inner serpent. These are not just funerary rituals. They are precise instructions on how to reactivate cosmic consciousness while still alive. In ancient India, the rishis, sages, developed what we now know as yoga and meditation. But these practices were originally specific methods to recover the Akashic memory, the cosmic archive where all your soul's experiences are recorded. The Vedas, the oldest texts of humanity, speak of the Atman, the true self that lies beyond the physical body. They describe exact techniques for reconnecting with this higher identity. It wasn't religion. It was applied spiritual science. In Tibet, the lamas developed what they call the bardo, the ability to consciously navigate between different states of reality. They knew that death is just a transition between dimensions, and that it's possible to access these other dimensions while still alive. The Tibetan texts speak of tulkus, beings who can remember their past lives and return with specific purposes. They're not talking about reincarnation as something automatic. They're talking about a conscious and controlled process. Among the native peoples of the Americas, shamans used sacred plants and specific rituals to die temporarily and return with the memory of who they really were. They knew that ordinary reality is just a superficial layer of existence. Shamans weren't just healers. They were dimensional navigators, capable of accessing information from other realities and bringing that knowledge back to help their communities. In medieval Europe, alchemists hid this knowledge in chemical formulas and hermetic symbols. They weren't trying to turn lead into gold. They were describing the process of transforming ordinary human consciousness into divine consciousness. The elixir of life they sought wasn't a physical potion. It was a state of consciousness where you remember your immortal nature. The philosopher's stone wasn't a material object. It was the technique for awakening the soul. But why was this knowledge hidden? Why isn't it taught in schools? Why have you never heard about it in a clear and direct way? The answer is simple: because an awakened humanity cannot be controlled. Imagine if everyone knew they were a divine being living a temporary human experience. Imagine if everyone remembered their true powers. Imagine if everyone knew they could create their own reality. There would be no more slaves, no more people willing to live small and limited lives, no more fear of death, because everyone would know they are immortal. No more desperate competition for resources, because everyone would know they live in an infinitely abundant universe. That's why this knowledge was systematically erased from history. That's why it was turned into religion, something you're supposed to believe in but not experience directly. That's why it was labeled esoteric, something reserved for a chosen few. But times have changed. We're living in a unique moment in human history. Cosmic energies are aligning in a way that hasn't happened in thousands of years, and this alignment is making mass awakening easier. The ritual the ancient masters practiced is not complicated. It doesn't require years of study. It doesn't require special equipment. It doesn't require elaborate rituals with candles and incense. It requires only two things: pure intention and the courage to face who you really are. Because here's the truth no one tells you. You already know how to do this. This knowledge is coded into your spiritual DNA. It's engraved in your soul. The technique isn't something you need to learn, it's something you need to remember. When you were a child, you knew things you weren't supposed to know. You saw things you weren't supposed to see. You felt things you weren't supposed to feel. That wasn't imagination. You were still connected. You still remembered. Then they taught you to forget. They taught you to doubt. They taught you that all of this was just in your head. And little by little you started shutting down these natural abilities. But they didn't disappear. They just went into standby mode. And now, with the right technique, you can reactivate them. You can go back to being who you always were, but with the wisdom and maturity you've gained throughout this life. The ritual I'm going to reveal works because it simply removes the blocks that were placed over your natural consciousness. It's like wiping dust off a mirror. The mirror was always there, reflecting perfectly. You just need to clean what's preventing you from seeing your own image clearly. Your soul is talking to you all the time, but it doesn't use words. It uses a much more sophisticated, much more precise, much more powerful language, the language of universal codes. And the first code you need to learn to decipher is the numbers that keep repeating in your life. This isn't superficial numerology. This is applied cosmic mathematics. Have you noticed that you always look at the clock at the same time? That you always see the same number sequences on license plates, receipts, phone numbers? That certain dates keep repeating in your life almost obsessively? These aren't random patterns. They're dimensional coordinates your soul is using to guide you. Each number has a specific frequency, a specific vibration, a specific piece of information. When you see 1111, for example, your soul is telling you that an energetic portal has opened. It's the perfect moment to make wishes to the universe, to manifest desires, to connect with higher dimensions. It's not superstition. It's quantum physics. 1111 represents the alignment between your human consciousness and your cosmic consciousness. It's as if two worlds meet for an instant, creating a window of opportunity for accelerated manifestation. When you see sequences like 222, 333, 444, your soul is confirming that you're on the right path. Each of these sequences has a specific meaning related to the moment you're living. 222 speaks of partnerships and cooperation. It appears when you need to trust the process, when you need to be patient, when you need to work as a team, whether with other people or with the invisible forces supporting you. 333 is about communication and creative expression. It appears when you need to speak your truth, when you need to use your artistic gifts, when you need to connect with your inner child or with spiritual masters. 444 speaks of structure and foundation. It appears when you're building something important in your life, when you need to be more disciplined, when angels are working intensely around you, but your soul's codes go far beyond numbers. They include dates that repeat in your life in meaningful ways: births, deaths, marriages, separations, major changes. All of these follow patterns that are not coincidences. For example, you may notice that the most important transformations in your life always happen in the same month, or on the same day of the month, or in years that end with the same numbers. This happens because your soul programs these experiences to follow specific growth cycles. Your soul works with cycles of 7, 9, 11, and 22 years. Each of these periods represents a specific phase of your spiritual evolution. When you understand these cycles, you can predict and prepare for the major changes that are coming. Another powerful code is the names that appear repeatedly in your life. You may notice that you always relate to people with the same name, or with names that have the same meaning, or with the same initials. This is not coincidence. Names carry specific vibrational frequencies. When your soul attracts people with similar names, it's creating an energetic harmony that facilitates certain lessons or experiences. It's as if it's tuning a cosmic orchestra, and there's more. The places where you were born, where you live, where you work, where you travel, all of this follows specific energetic coordinates. Every place on Earth has a unique frequency, a unique energy, a unique role in your awakening process. Some people are born in high spiritual energy places, to start life already connected. Others are born in low energy places, to learn how to connect through challenge. Some move constantly to absorb different energies. Others stay in the same place their whole life to deepen a specific connection. All of this is orchestrated by your soul even before you were born. It chooses the place, the family, the circumstances, the challenges, the opportunities, all to create the perfect setting for your specific evolution. But perhaps the most fascinating code of all is recurring dreams. I'm not talking about chaotic dreams where anything can happen. I'm talking about those dreams that repeat with small variations, that always happen in the same places, with the same characters, following the same plots. These dreams are direct messages from your soul. They're showing you situations from past lives that still need to be resolved, or possible futures you can manifest, or parallel dimensions where other versions of you are living different experiences. When you learn to decode these dreams, you gain access to a huge archive of information about who you are, where you came from, and where you're going. It's like having a personal cosmic library available every night. The key to decoding all these codes is learning to pay attention. Most people live on autopilot, rushing from one activity to another, never stopping to observe the patterns happening around them. But you're not most people. You're awake enough to notice that there's an intelligence organizing your life. You're sensitive enough to pick up on the messages your soul is sending. You're brave enough to act according to this higher guidance. And here's the most incredible part. The more you pay attention to these codes, the more they appear. The more you decode them, the more complex and precise they become. It's as if your soul is testing your capacity to receive more sophisticated information. This happens because you're developing a new organ of perception. You're reactivating abilities that were dormant. You're remembering how to navigate reality using tools that go far beyond the 5 physical senses. There's a specific moment in your life when everything will change completely, when your soul will awaken in an irreversible way, when you will remember who you truly are so intensely that you'll never be able to forget again. And this moment is not random. It follows a perfect cosmic timing that you can identify and even accelerate. I discovered this when I started studying the lives of the great spiritual masters of humanity. Buddha at 35 years old, Jesus at 30, Muhammad at 40. All of them had their awakening at specific moments that followed very precise astrological and numerological patterns. It's not coincidence. It's as if the universe has pre-programmed windows of opportunity for each soul to awaken. Moments when cosmic energies align in a way that facilitates deep transformation, and you have these windows too. They happen in cycles of 7, 11, 22, and 29 years. But the most powerful ones are at 33, 44, and 55 years old, the so-called master years, where your soul has the opportunity to make giant evolutionary leaps. But there's something even more specific: the energy portals that open throughout the year. These are moments when the barrier between dimensions becomes thinner, when it's easier to access altered states of consciousness, when awakening rituals have multiplied effectiveness. The equinoxes and solstices are the most well-known, but there are other equally powerful moments: new moons, full moons, eclipses, planetary conjunctions, comet passages. Each of these cosmic events creates a specific frequency on Earth, and when you understand these frequencies, you can use them to accelerate your awakening process. For example, the new moon is the perfect time to plant seeds of intention. It's when you should make your wishes to the universe, set your goals, start new projects. The energy is focused on beginnings, on manifestation, on creation. The full moon is the time for energetic harvest. It's when you should perform rituals of gratitude, release, and transmutation. It's when you should connect with your intuition, with your psychic gifts, with your sacred feminine nature. Eclipses are moments of cosmic reset. They are portals that allow drastic changes in your reality. Everything you decree during an eclipse has a manifestation power multiplied by 10. But here's the secret few know. The most powerful time to practice the awakening ritual is during what we call the sacred hour, that period between 3 and 6 in the morning, when the veil between worlds is thinnest. Leave a comment below telling me, have you noticed that you always naturally wake up between 3 and 6 a.m.? Or that your most intense dreams happen at this time? I want to know if you've had these experiences. At this time, your conscious mind is more relaxed, your intuition is sharper, and external energetic interferences are at a minimum. It's as if you have a direct line to the higher dimensions. All mystics from all traditions have always known this. That's why they woke up at dawn to meditate, to pray, to practice their rituals. It wasn't just spiritual discipline. It was scientific knowledge about the best times to connect with the sacred. But there's an even more specific moment you need to know: your personal birth time. If you were born at 2:30 p.m., for example, that time every day represents a personalized energetic portal for you. At that moment, the cosmic energies are aligned in the same way they were when you chose to incarnate in this world. It's as if the universe is reminding you every day of your original mission. And here's something fascinating. When you start paying attention to your personal cosmic timing, the universe starts synchronizing important events with these moments. You get important calls at your birth time. You make crucial decisions during eclipses. You meet special people on new moons. This happens because you're aligning with the natural rhythm of your soul. You're stopping fighting against the current and starting to flow with it. But there's an even deeper timing you need to understand: the timing of your own spiritual evolution. Each soul has specific development phases that follow universal patterns. The first phase is the programmed forgetting, usually from 0 to 28 years old, where you're learning to be human, absorbing experiences, collecting information, developing your personality. The second phase is the initial awakening, usually from 29 to 42 years old, where you start questioning everything, seeking purpose, getting interested in spirituality, feeling that there's something more. The third phase is the deep awakening, usually from 43 to 56 years old, where you truly remember who you are, develop your gifts, find your mission, and become a channel for higher energies. The fourth phase is mastery, usually from 57 years onward, where you become a master, a guide, an example for other souls that are awakening. Of course, these are general patterns. Some souls accelerate this process. Others take longer, some skip phases, others repeat phases multiple times. But the important thing is that you understand which phase you're in and what to expect from the next. The moment you've been waiting for has arrived. Now I'm going to reveal exactly how to perform the ritual that can awaken your soul's memory. This technique has been kept secret for millennia, passed only from master to disciple, protected from the eyes of the profane world. But before we begin, I need to give you an important warning. This is not a game. What you're about to learn will stir deep layers of your consciousness. It will bring buried memories to the surface. It will activate abilities that have been dormant. It will change your perception of reality in an irreversible way. If you want to master this connection with the universe and learn to consciously manifest your reality, I invite you to the Quantum Thinking Challenge, a 21-day schedule where you'll reprogram your mind, raise your vibration, and unlock your full energetic potential. For 3 weeks, you'll have daily practices to transform your frequency and start attracting everything you desire. The first participants have already sent me incredible achievements that are appearing in their lives. Are you ready for yours too? Access it in the first pinned comment. Now, let's get to the technique itself. The first step is preparing the sacred space. You need a place where you won't be interrupted for at least 30 minutes. It can be your bedroom, your living room, even a bathroom. The important thing is that it's a space where you feel safe and protected. Turn off all electronics. Cell phone, television, computer, everything. These devices emit frequencies that interfere with the subtle energy fields you're about to access. It's like trying to tune a radio station with a lot of background noise. Sit comfortably, but keep your spine upright. It can be on a chair, a cushion, even on your bed, as long as you can maintain the posture effortlessly. The upright spine is fundamental because it works like an antenna that connects your earthly energy with cosmic energies. Now comes the most important part, the breath that opens dimensional portals. This isn't ordinary breathing. It's a specific technique that alters your brain frequency and allows access to expanded states of consciousness. Inhale deeply through your nose, counting to 4. Hold the air, counting to 7. Exhale through your mouth, counting to 8. Repeat this cycle exactly 21 times. This 4 minus 7 to 8 sequence is not random. It's based on sacred mathematical proportions found throughout nature. It's the same proportion we find in the spiral of a seashell, in the structure of a galaxy, in the Fibonacci sequence. When you breathe in this proportion, your brain automatically enters what scientists call the theta state, the same brainwave frequency you experience during lucid dreams, mystical experiences, and moments of creative genius. After the 21st breath, you'll notice changes in your perception. Colors may become more vivid. Sounds may seem more distant or closer. You may feel a sense of expansion, as if you're becoming larger than your physical body. This is normal. This is expected. You're beginning to access dimensions of your consciousness that are normally blocked by the rational mind. Now comes the second step, the activation mantra. There is a specific sequence of sounds that resonates with the frequency of your soul. These sounds were discovered by the ancient masters, and transmitted secretly through generations. The mantra is Sohum Sata Nama. You should repeat it mentally, silently, while keeping your breathing natural and relaxed. So connects you with the universal cosmic source. Hum activates your divine identity. Sa represents the infinite cycle of existence. Ta is the birth of new possibilities. Na is transformation and renewal. Ma is the death of the limited ego. Repeat this sequence mentally for exactly 11 minutes. Don't worry about counting the time. Your intuition will let you know when the 11 minutes are up. During these 11 minutes, visions, memories, strange sensations, intense emotions may arise. Don't resist, don't judge, don't try to interpret. Just observe everything that emerges, as if it were a movie playing in front of you. These images and sensations are fragments of your cosmic memory returning to consciousness. They are pieces of who you are beyond this specific life. They are clues about your origin, your mission, your destiny. Some people see past lives, others see possible futures. Some connect with spiritual guides, others access parallel dimensions. Some simply feel deep peace, a connection with something much greater than themselves. There is no right or wrong experience. Each soul accesses the information it's ready to receive at the specific moment it's living. After the 11 minutes of mantra repetition comes the most crucial phase of all, the moment of the sacred question. Now you're going to ask a question directly to your soul, and it will answer in a way that leaves no doubt. The question is always the same. Who am I really? But don't ask this question with your mind. Ask with your heart. Feel the question vibrating in every cell of your body. Let it echo through all the empty spaces inside you. And then simply wait in total silence, without expectations, without anxiety, as if you were an empty vessel waiting to be filled. The answer may come in many forms. It could be a word that appears in your mind. It could be an image that shows up before your closed eyes. It could be a sensation in your body. It could be an emotion that takes over you. It could be an absolute certainty that arises from nowhere. Some people hear their cosmic name, that name their soul has in the higher dimensions. Others see their light form, how they really appear when not limited by a physical body. Some receive information about their mission in this life. Others simply feel a deep connection with their divine essence. The important thing is that you trust the first thing that comes. Don't question. Don't doubt. Don't try to rationalize. The soul speaks in a language that goes beyond logic. After you receive your answer, even if it's just a vague sensation, you should make a recognition statement. Out loud say, I recognize who I am, I accept who I am, I honor who I am. These words energetically seal the experience. They work as a command for your subconscious to integrate the information you just received. And then, gradually, begin to bring your attention back to your physical body. Move your fingers and toes. Stretch gently. Open your eyes slowly. But pay attention. Don't get up immediately. Stay a few minutes in silence, integrating the experience. Let the sensations settle. Allow the information to organize in your consciousness. Many people make the mistake of rushing off after the ritual, immediately returning to their normal routine. This wastes part of the energy that was moved. It's like leaving an important medical appointment without paying attention to the instructions. After the ritual, you may feel some normal side effects: drowsiness, more intense dreams, changes in appetite, increased emotional sensitivity, more frequent synchronicities. This means the ritual worked. Your consciousness is reorganizing to include the new information. In the coming days, pay attention to the signs the universe will send you. The answers from the ritual usually unfold gradually, through casual encounters, meaningful conversations, unexpected opportunities, sudden insights. Your soul will continue sending you confirmations that you truly remembered who you are. It will create situations that validate the experience you had. It will open doors that previously seemed impossible to open. But there's something very important you need to know. This ritual can be repeated, but it should not be trivialized. Each time you practice it, you access deeper layers of your cosmic identity. Each repetition brings more advanced revelations. The ideal is to practice it once a month, always during the new moon, always at the same time, always in the same place. This creates an energetic pattern that facilitates increasingly deeper connections. The more you practice, the more you realize that you don't need the ritual to connect with your soul. It's just a springboard that teaches you how to jump. Once you learn to jump, you can do it anytime, anywhere. The ultimate goal is not to depend on external techniques. It's to remember that you always were, are, and will be much more than you imagine. The ritual only temporarily removes the veils covering this truth. But the truth has always been there, waiting to be rediscovered. Now you have the key. You have the knowledge that changed the lives of all the great masters of humanity. You have access to the same power they had. Once you remember who you are, there's no turning back. Once you see your true magnitude, you can no longer settle for a small life. Once you recognize your divine nature, everything changes forever. And this change doesn't just affect you. It spreads like ripples in a lake, touching everyone around you, transforming the entire reality you inhabit.